All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Phoenix Suns are once again making headlines as just months after acquiring Kevin Durant from the Brooklyn Nets. They are set to acquire all star guard Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Beal will join Durant and Devin Booker in Phoenix, while according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Landry Shamet and Chris Paul are expected to be part of the package that the Wizards will be receiving. One thing is for sure, and that is that the Suns won't be without scoring next season when you think about KD, Devin Booker, and Brad Beal. But make no mistake about it, this is a top heavy team. Between Durant, Beal, Booker, and center DeAndre Ayton, you're talking about easily $150 million of salary for next season. And the Suns only have five players under contract for next season as of right now. Matt Ishbia, the new Suns owner, is going all in, but will it be enough? He's given new Suns head coach Frank Vogel plenty of star power to work with, but the Suns still have their work cut out for them, in my opinion. The reason why I say it is this: you're talking about three ball dominant players in KD and Brad Beal, and of course Devin Booker. Something's got to give right there, because I say this because all three of these guys are scorers. Um, can they be a secondary guy? That's going to be the big thing right there. But not only that, all three of these guys, they need the ball in their hands in order to be effective. There's not a lot of other things that they bring to the table. Brad Beal, outside of a scorer, that's it. It's the same thing can go for Devin Booker. KD will get you some rebounds, but KD's not going to be a guy that you're going to ask to go out there and stay in the post and give you 15 rebounds and be a secondary guy. And it's an offense. That's not why you brought him here. So of course, one question is going to be, like Chris Paul, will DeAndre Ayton be traded? It wouldn't surprise me from the simply from the standpoint that, you know what, the Suns could get some salary relief if they traded Aiton. And on top of that, a trade of Aiton would bring back, assets such as, guys that are going to help them fill out a roster. Because the way things look now for the Phoenix Suns, to me, this would be a great team if you're talking about, go down there and play in the big three, and you got Beal, you got Booker and KD. Okay, that's all well and fun, but you got to fill out a 15-man roster for an entire 82 game season, especially when you're talking about guys in Booker, in Beal, and especially Kevin Durant at this advanced stage of his NBA career that cannot stay healthy. So what's going to happen if KD goes down? What's going to happen if Beal goes down? What's going to happen when Booker goes down? The Suns have to get some bodies on this team. Now, on the flip side, for CP3, has the championship window officially closed for him? And this is going to be an interesting take. The Wizards could be the six different team that Chris Paul plays for. And I say could be because it's one of those where could he get bought out by Washington and go someplace else? We've got to wait and see. But make no mistake about it. You're talking about CP3. He's 38 years old. Just turned 38 last month. To me, and of course, some other people will say that as well, Chris Paul's best option probably to win the championship was 2 years ago when the Suns got to the finals. And then you can also make a case several years back when he was with the Houston Rockets. They were up 3-2 on the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals before he had that hamstring injury. Golden State came back and won that series. And of course, the rest was history. But for Chris Paul, I really do feel his best opportunity to win was 2 years ago when the Suns did get to the finals. They were up 2-0 on Milwaukee before the wheels fell off there. So I'm really not sure what's going to happen with Chris Paul, because there are a lot of questions for the Washington Wizards right now. One did get answered today, as it looks like Kristaps Porzingis is going to opt in next year to earn $36 million. So at least if you're Washington, you have that going. Still, is Porzingis going to be in the long-term plans of this team? I'm not sure. We also know that Kyle Kuzma has a player option next year at $13 million. I think Kyle Kuzma is less likely to opt in than Kristaps Porzingis is due to the fact that Kuzma probably feels that he can get more than $13 million a year on the open market. So we got to wait and see right there. Could this be a scenario where even though that Porzingis is opting in, could the Wizards trade him, and could they simply look to rebuild altogether? These are all possibilities here in DC. We just got to wait and see how things play out. But for Bradley Beal, you look at his legacy in Washington, one of the best scorers in franchise history. He's going to leave Washington as the Wizards slash Bullets second leading scorer in the franchise's history. But obviously, it didn't work out. And of course, like I talked about it the other day, the Wizards are just one of those franchises, in my opinion, that they're simply going through the motions. A lot of talent there. This is an organization that has not even been to the conference finals in more than 40 years. You have an organization that you cannot say that they have not lacked talent over the years, but the bottom line is it's the execution, and it starts from the top, and there simply just has not been that commitment there. So I think at the end of the day, Brad Beal was going through the motions in Washington, but honestly, the whole franchise was. So I'm not going to hold Brad Beal to that, but I will say this: the expectation level for him just got a lot bigger because now you are in that quote unquote pressure cooker. And I say that because when you're going to be surrounded with talent like Devin Booker and, of course, future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant, this team was not put together just to make the playoffs. This team was put together to win a championship. And you look at the Suns, they got to the second round this year, they lost to the Denver Nuggets. And I'll tell you like this: with what the Suns have right now, I don't think they have enough to win an NBA championship. A lot still has to change for a lot of teams during the summer, of course, between the draft this week, the start of free agency, and of course, we always know about trades leading up to the draft. This is the first big one. I still expect at least one more big one, either prior to the NBA draft or even possibly during the NBA draft. And then, of course, the frenzy that is free agency, which is set to kick off in a couple of days as well. But nonetheless, I look at the Suns. They're a very perimeter oriented team. When their offense is on, they're going to be exciting. But what happens when that offense is not on? That's going to be the big time factor right there. I look at it like this for Brad Beal. He's going into a dynamic situation. And I think for Phoenix, this is going to be feast or famine. But until the Suns put some depth on this team, it ain't going to happen. They gave up draft picks and their depth to the Nets in order to get KD. And like I said, at some point during the playoffs, their lack of depth was going to show up. And of course, it showed up in a big way in their second round loss to the Denver Nuggets. And until the Suns are able to fix that depth issue, they're going to be exciting. They're going to be, fun to look at. They're going to be good to read about in the papers. But all of that I just talked about does not lead to a championship. They have the star power. Now let's see if they can find a way to put a team around those stars. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites, going on social media. And to all of the fellas out there, a happy and healthy Father's Day. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.